Welcome everyone to episode 35 of the draft. We're back for another fun week. We got the Yellawood 500 at Talladega this weekend. Yella reminds me of Vegas Vacation when Eddie's at the buffet. It's all you can eat, and he's like, "I'll have some of the Yella. Don't get cheap on me." That's all I can think of when I hear Yella.
That quote
But
flows very heavily in this household.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so we got the Yellawood 500. Last week, a great race at Vegas. I thought it was awesome. I'm actually a fan of the racing before the cautions. I don't think it was just awesome because we had the late race restarts. I think before that was a pretty awesome race to watch. Uh, I had a good day going. I'll just be quick with a recap here. Larson was winning. Everything was going to be good. The Ty Dillon thing happens. So still came out on top. Won some money last week, but not what it could have been. And Denny sneaks it through with AMPM, which we were just talking. Thought it was Dayquil, Nyquil, but it ends up being a gas station chain. So you learn something new every day. Um, Tino, I'll kick it to you. How'd you enjoy the race? How'd you do? I know the streak ended. I know it's a little sore subject there, but you almost had it. So how are you feeling?
Yeah. Hey, good race, enjoyed watching it. Tough that the streak is over, like you mentioned. We got to 7 straight wins for an outright driver. It was an awesome time. Appreciate everyone who tuned in there. And it was looking like 8, whether it was going to be, Kyle Larson or William Byron there. Had both those guys on the card, and unfortunately it didn't pan out. But I will say this, I'm not going to formally apologize by any means, but I will semi-formally apologize to Denny Hamlin. Doubted him last week, and I would say rightfully so. He hasn't ever won in the round of 8 to get into the championship 4 in the next gen era. And then he goes and does just that. So, hey, hand up, appreciative of his greatness last weekend. The fact that he was able to take that, high line, 10 laps to go and make it happen. I thought that was pretty impressive. Doing it the way he did over Kyle Larson was pretty cool. So I'm glad that I lost in a way that was a little bit crazy with the Ty Dillon situation, but also B, by Denny making history, winning from the pole, never happened before at Vegas. So, happy to also be in a standpoint now to get my get back. Phil beats me or Ryan wins. If both of you guys, now I'm down. I got to get back. Feeling pretty good this week.
All right, good. Yeah, that picture they showed of him crying as he walks up to get the flag. I mean, that's like that picture is gonna go down in history as one of the greats. So, speaking of us doubting Denny, let's praise Phil at the same time here and kick it to Phil. The victory last week, but as you'll notice on all 3 of these teams, no Denny Hamlin, no winner on the card. So I think I had it till the Byron thing happened. Phil, with just his smooth, calm, and collective, no mistakes, gets through. The Blaney shirt, he puts it on live, and somehow it still comes through for him, gives him a win. Phil, how you feeling about last week?
Feeling pretty good. I was jacked up that I was able to pull off that, my Lee Corso headgear imitation type deal. And it worked out. I did that to either have Blaney win or me win, and that still continues to go strong. So I was very happy with that. Yeah, pretty crazy. I think the chat had Denny last week, if I remember correctly, and we just didn't jump on it. Yeah, Brian, I think if I remember correctly, was on that. Um, and we didn't do that, but wild ending. I agree with what you said, Ryan. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was a good race. I thought that's why we look forward to Vegas, and it panned out. So there was going to be some winners and losers, and Byron, Elliott, Blaney, those were the losers, and they're going to have to move forward. So I think that sets up for a race that we're going to talk about tonight. You know, they all being below the cut line, being so good on super speedways makes this race that I wasn't really looking forward to kind of very exciting. So
Yeah.
we'll get to the Talladega stuff, but I will say, yeah, I only was up like a unit plus last week. Had a wonky week. This is just real quick side note. I had my podcast episode deleted by Spotify. So for anyone that was looking for it around the weekend, they changed their rules around music licenses and stuff, and I can't use my intros anymore. My intro I've used forever. They've changed the rules around that, so now I'm using a public domain music setup. So yeah, sorry for anyone who was looking for that this past weekend. I was like totally caught off guard. So it was a weird start to the weekend, and came through. I'm mostly happy with taking the lead here. We new leader, and very happy about that. So hopefully we can continue that now with the races dwindling.
Yeah. I think, one important thing to take from last week too is like the process was right. Hamlin wins, but that's okay. Like I don't regret not taking Hamlin. I had Larson early week, Byron late week. It's like those were the only two cars that were going to win that race until crazy shit happened. So I think either way, it was good. Stick to the process. The things will, land our way more times than not, as they have throughout the year. One thing too that's very important here: you have a half race lead now on Tino. So there's only 3 races to go. We got Dega, Martinsville, and Phoenix. And we got that one tie we had early in the year, that half point just hanging over Tino's head now. So, man, it's going to be fun. I'm officially out of it after losing last week, but we're going to march on. And I'm just going to go for the high score every week now. So, kind of feels good. I can just pick my guys. Phil, you selected Alex's Lemonade. That's who Win the Race donated to help fight children's cancer. Great pick. We haven't done that yet this year. So everyone go check out Alex's Lemonade charity. All right. So we went over last week. Time to dive into Talladega. These will be pretty quick picks, I'm guessing. There's not much we can dive into here when so much crazy stuff can happen here. But it will be fun to talk about some storylines like Phil alluded to earlier. Guys kind of got to go balls to the wall here if they want to make it to the next round. So could make the race pretty exciting. Let's do a quick race preview. I'm going to kick it to Phil. Phil, what can we expect at Talladega?
Sure thing. So we've got the longest oval in NASCAR, 2.66 miles super speedway, Lincoln, Alabama. This is the big one, super speedway, drafting track for anyone who's kind of just getting into NASCAR. Track stats here, 112 races in the history of the Cup Series. That's a boatload. The winner has only started on the pole 13 times. Last time it happened was Ricky Stenhouse in 2017, so a long time ago. But winners starting inside the top 5, 54%. Starting inside the top 10, 73%. So, I feel like we have this conversation every time we go to one of these tracks. It's an anyone can win type of track, but those are very similar to what we see on the, mile and a half short tracks. It's like pretty much right in line with what we usually see on a week-to-week basis. The winner starting outside the top 20 has only happened 9 times, but it happened last year in this race. Ricky Stenhouse did it from like 32. So pretty expected split from manufacturer trend in the next gen car. 4 Chevy victories, 2 Fords, and 1 Toyota in the 7 next gen races here. You can expect 188 laps in this one, 60 in stage 1, 60 in stage 2, and 68 in stage 3. So they've been a little less chaotic, and I think maybe this is a talking point throughout the day, but I think it's worth calling out. This next gen car has just been different. There's nothing really for me to call out from the Goodyear standpoint, but just the way that this car handles in the draft, it's tougher to pass. It's been less chaotic, and it's kind of produced more of the chalky picks from Daytona and Talladega. So worth mentioning that as we get into this. And I'll say, to kick things off, the tracks that I'm looking at are simply the big ones. I'm not looking at Atlanta when I'm pulling data here. When we go to Atlanta, I pull the big tracks, but when we go to Talladega or Daytona, I'm leaving Atlanta data behind. So interested to hear what you guys are doing there. And the last thing I'll mention is this is the first time this track has been in the round of 8. So makes it all the more weird and wonky for these drivers left in the playoffs. So
Yeah, I hope we see some more aggression. Could make it a lot more fun here. I did pull up this. I don't know how well it'll show up here. I'll try to take some of this other stuff off. This is the last 51 races at Talladega and where the winner has started. So goes from the most recent race on the right there, 2025, and then just all the way to the left, and then goes back to 2000. But you can see the winners, there are trends, but they're really just kind of coming from all over. So, pick your spots. And like Phil said, this is the first time it's been in the round of 8. So we really don't know what to expect aggression wise. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. All right. If you're new to the draft, we'll get right into it here. I'll pull up the draft board. All right. So those are the teams there. Oh, no, I guess that's right. All right. So draft board's up 23-11, front row. Hendricks, Joe Gibbs, Penske. Big Three's another pick with them. RFK, Spire, best of the rest, and a wild card. We're going to pick one driver in each category. We use real NASCAR points to score it. And the winner will pick a charity that Win the Race will donate to at the end of the week. We pick a new charity every week, doing 36 different charities. It's going to be a lot of fun. Has been a lot of fun. And we got, 3 more to go. So, with that being said, let's just jump right into it. Tino, I'm going to jump to you. We haven't heard you talk in a couple minutes here, and we need to. So, 23-11, Tino Patino, kick it off for Talladega.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm fired up. I haven't been talking, but it's been good because my mind's been locked in, swirling around. How can I get my get back? How can I put myself in a position with a win this weekend, get my lead back? All I want, and I said this to the guys earlier today, all I want is to go into Phoenix with a chance to win the championship of the draft, just like the drivers are trying to do on the track. And that's why, since we're going to a super speedway, to Talladega specifically, it's Bubba Wallace for me. Can't overthink this one. That's just where he succeeds. I know Reddick actually won this race, or one of the Talladega races last year. I actually did kind of see that one coming because he's been faster on the super speedways and everything like that. Won a dual race. So I'm trying to pull any sort of significant super speedway speed that I can, but I feel like this is a pick where with Bubba Wallace, no stress, not having to worry about all this other playoff drama and everything like that, can go out and do what he does best, and that's draft. That's what I'm trying to do tonight as well. So I'm excited to get more picks on the board too.
Awesome. Yeah, Bubba Wallace, an obvious good pick here. I'm going to let Phil go. Do you think I should? You guys are battling for the championship here now. So, I guess it doesn't really matter where I go because Phil.
Hey, everything matters. Everything matters. This is like racing. This is like right. So in the current playoffs, you're just a guy that's just now eliminated.
Just a guy.
You can still win the race. And I'm hoping that if it's not me this weekend that wins the draft, it's you. So I say a lot of stuff matters here.
Same.
I'll see if I can. I'll be the Ty Dillon in some of these categories and just hold one of you guys up.
You're our second favorite guy this week.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just take Riley Herbst here. Then I don't matter in this category.
Oh, that would be actually funny.
I'll go. I did do real picks, and I will until the end. My pick is Bubba Wallace, and Reddick's only top 10 here in the Gen 7 era was a win, which is good to see. But Bubba's got multiple top 10s here. In the 14 race sample here at Dega, Bubba has the best 5 true performances. I pulled this up from, let's see if you can see that there. So that's from Loop Edge on Win the Race, and I just sorted it by true performance at Talladega only in the Gen 7 era. Bubba Wallace, the 5 best of those races there. So even better than when Reddick won because, you can obviously sneak in a win on a track like this. So I just got to take the guy that, all our hard work points to and says that he should come out on top in this matchup. So, not much else to say here. I do like both of them, though. There's really good points on Tyler Reddick. And while we're talking about the team, I'll mention it. One sneaky thing in the 5 drafting races this year, Tyler Reddick, 3rd best average finish in the Cup Series. So, he's getting the finishes this year as well. 2 top 5s in those 5 races. And I had mentioned him on E-Step's show, the last drafting track, and it was as a long shot. And man, he was running up front all race. So it was fun to see. He's definitely gotten a lot better, but I'll go Bubba Wallace here. Phil, who do you got?
Bubba's who I had written down, so I'm not going to change it. I actually, took him in a matchup against somebody, Rush Chastain, actually. And for a lot of the reasons you guys said, of the 3 drafting tracks we've been to this year, Bubba's best performance is only top 10 was here. He kind of shit the bed at Daytona both times, but then he's also got back-to-back top 10s at this racetrack. I think there's just a lot of good reasons to fall into the Bubba side of things here. So I'm not going to try to be different and mix and match here. There might be time for that later, but for me, it's Bubba.
You shouted out the Reddick over Wallace head-to-head last week, and that hit and wasn't even close. So good call out last week as well on that one. Taking the other side here. All right, front row. Let's get into it. Phil, I'm sticking with you. Front row motorsports. Who do you got here?
When I get to Talladega each time, there's a guy that I always have on my radar, and it's Todd Gilliland. Todd Gilliland is on my betting card this week. He's on my draft roster this week. The point that I like to make is when we go to Daytona, February, we're going to be pulling super speedway stats. And when you include Talladega, he looks like a viable option. But at Daytona, he hasn't been good. He's good on super speedways on his resume because of Talladega. He's best here. This is his super speedway track. And I'm not going to shy away from it. I mean, in average finish, he's actually 6th in the Cup Series. 14.7 is what I'm looking at here. He's got 3 top 10s. He's got 5 top 16 finishes. I think that he is a viable option for a top 10 finish this week. It's not to say I have nothing bad to say about the other guys. I just believe in Gilliland this week, and it's kind of rare for me to have anything positive to say about the front row guys. It's usually more of a like I don't give a shit kind of pick. But Gilliland this week, I have some conviction in, so we're gonna go that way.
Perfect. Yeah, I had Todd Gilliland written down here all day as well. The 3 top 10s he's got in the Gen 7 races at Talladega have come from all different positions too. It's come from when he's qualified up front, and it's come from when he started in the back. So either way, he's found a way to get it done no matter where he's starting in the field, and I like to see that in these type of races. I did pull up I only did this for 2311 in front row to kind of start the show here, but I pulled up his as well. Just this whole team here, and the best true performances you see here at Talladega. It's a lot of mix between Gragson and Gilliland. Gragson's got a couple really good finishes here as well. But overall, when I look at the overall scope of it and more top 10 finishes, Todd Gilliland for me here. But really, I mean, I can't even fault you if you go with Zane here. Like you said, it's pretty close with this team, just like almost everywhere we go. So, Tino, I'll kick it to you. Who do you got here for front row?
Yeah, I see 2 Todds there. I kind of want to pivot, but I am, as Robert said, a believer this weekend. Believer, a Todd Gilliland plus money top 10. I know top 10 talking about that market is a little crazy for a super speedway, but everything you guys just mentioned, he's 6th in terms of average finish here in the next gen era. So if I were to go any type of prop, it might be for him with that specifically, aside from like top finishers for Ford and Chevy and things like that. I don't like being the same as you guys as well. I wanted to say that, but you'll see some of my other picks. I'd be very surprised if we're the same come later on in these rounds. Also wanted to shout out the guys in the chat going crazy. Appreciate everyone joining us here tonight as usual. So let's talk about some of them real quick. First up, I saw this awesome question from my buddy Sam Hall. I'll be seeing those guys this weekend as well. Sean McBride, Sam Hall. Maybe we'll do a little Joey Logs live stream or something like that. But Sam Hall asks a hypothetical question here. If you were to put your rent payment on a head-to-head bet this weekend, Chastain versus Priest, who would you bet? Assume even odds on both sides. Completely hypothetical. Well, good thing we have a little win the race action to help us figure that out with the the
I
great
can't believe how
tools we
close
have
it is.
there.
Like what? I can't believe he picked this one and how close it is.
But I mean, I think I'm going Priest. But what do you think there, Ryan and Phil? What do you guys?
I mean, it's
this one?
It's Chastain minus 101, Priest plus 101. So 49.68% to the other side. That's like it doesn't get, and that's after 20,000 simulations at Talladega. So I mean, like, what a weird matchup to call out here. It's like the closest one in all of our simulations by far for whatever reason.
20,000 sims. Oh man.
Yeah, they're
So-
dead even.
I have kind of a rule of thumb for this one that sways me into making a pick, and that is driver rating. So in 2025, the 3 tracks, not a huge sample size. I know we're taking this all with a grain of salt, but Priest's driver rating in 3 super speedway starts is 91 plus, and Chastain's is 67. I have a rule that in a head-to-head matchup, I can't take someone with somebody below 70 driver rating in a metric. So, and that's a wildly different driver rating when you're looking at those guys head-to-head. So, I would take Priest, just kind of trying to find my way through. That's where I would land.
Love that. I think they love to hear that too, being from the same Connecticut area as Ryan Priest himself. So it looks like Sean McBride is betting this and using his all of his rent money. But so shout out to them. Great question there, and awesome matchup too. So that'll be something excited to be tuned in for. Brian, shout out to him being in Vegas, picking Denny Hamlin. You know, like I said before, I was wrong, but happy to see one of the boys like Brian succeed there. And that one, he is 1 serving away from being of Grillos, from becoming a Grilliver of Todd Gillen. Did a double there. And then GoFest Troy is in the chat. He's excited about putting the rent down and next month's rent down on the Priest pick. Alfred in the chat saying he has a Chastain head-to-head, but it's Bowman minus 115 over Chastain. Shout out Alfred there. A couple more before we move on to the next. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, that's perfect. All right, let's take a look at this.
I just pulled this from Loop Edge too. So that's just the true performance scores at Talladega for Priest and Chastain. And again, they're just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's like, I don't know. That's a crazy one. That's an awesome question.
Love it. Appreciate everyone in the chat as well. We'll get one more question in, and then we'll cycle on throughout the show as always. One more I'm gonna pick is from the chat, and it's looking like it's gonna be from Easton. Shout out Easton. He's asking us, who do we think will replace Justin Haley in number 7? To me, that's Daniel Suarez. So I feel like that one is just already locked in.
I agree with that as well. He brings money, fans. He'll be good for that team.
All right, awesome.
All right. Let's head to a team now that I'm particularly very high on. So I'll just lead it off here, and we'll go to Hendrick Motorsports, and I'm going to lead it off with William Byron. I think this is kind of a layup once we start looking at all the stats and start talking about everything here. 5 straight top 10s at Talladega. He's the only one who's finished top 20 in all 7 Gen 7 races. In HMS, like I said, they hold 4 of the top 8 spots in my true performance scores in drafting races this year. I'm not really surprised if any of them win. And I have another team that's 1, 2, and 3 that in true average running position in those races, but Byron's right behind them in 4th. And so we know he can kind of stick around the front, and he strikes, at the end. He's very advantageous in that aspect of these races. So give me William Byron here. Phil, I'm going to pop back to you. Who do you got for HMS?
Yeah, it's Byron and, everybody else. In my opinion, I mean, you've laid out the stats. They call out the redemption arc here. Zach is calling that out. It's one of those things that I said at the beginning of the show, that he's below the cut line now. He's arguably the best driver statistically at this track, if you can say that about a super speedway. Yeah. And he's like crazy consistent. And I'm looking for guys, whether it's on my betting card or in my draft, that you can rely on. Like, the bar is lower, but William Byron's numbers are like insane. 7 for 7 top 15s. He's got 3 top 5s in the last 4 races. That's crazy on a super speedway. That's wild at any track. You know what I mean?
And it doesn't really matter where, too. He's out there winning Daytonas. So
exactly.
It's like what he does.
So, yeah, it's Byron for me, and I'm sure this team will hear more from. But to start things off, I got to go Willie B.
Awesome. Tino, who do you got here for Hendrick?
Ooh, all right. So this is now the moment where Tino's going to make a play, and we could look back at this and say, man, that was a pretty Tino-esque thing to do, and it won him this week's draft. Or Eventually, you know, maybe it goes the other way and everyone is back here in the chat saying, Tino, why would you do that? And I got to go with what my heart's been saying to me kind of all year long. And that's the fact that we're going to go into Talladega and the driver that finished second last week is going to win it. That's Kyle Larson. And I'm picking Kyle Larson at a super speedway. And I feel confident in that because recently, what I've seen out of that 5 team at Atlanta, at Daytona, even Talladega, from time to time, he's been up there. He's been close. Now, he hasn't finished like Byron has. And that's something that I'm terrified of because he's going to have to finish to get me the results, to get us the points that we need right here. But I think he can do it. And I think it's going to come right now. I think it's so crazy. It just might work. And that's what I need. And I need to take chances here. I'm only a half game behind, but I feel like at Talladega, these might seem like crazy picks, but they just might work. If you want any sort of storyline or sign to go along with this, I got one for you guys here. And this is after I've already made up my mind last week about going with Kyle Larson in this spot. He's set to make his 400th NASCAR Cup Series start at Talladega. Fun fact, there's been 3 7-time champs that have also won in their 400th start. Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt, Jimmy Johnson. Kyle Larson's not a 7-time champ, but he is one of the best in the business. I'm looking forward to that storyline. And hey, on the record, if Kyle Larson wins this weekend, I'll buy a PS5, download the NASCAR 25 game, and everyone that's watching this right now will hop in and play together.
Beautiful.
There we go.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Wow. I love it. So let's just go to Joe Gibbs off that. There's really no way to follow that up easily. I'm going to go first here because, again, I'm not necessarily playing against you guys anymore. And so I just had a thought here, and this is like my own, I guess, storyline I'll make up here. But for Joe Gibbs, I'm going to go with a guy who can just kind of race his own race now, and that's Denny Hamlin. He's got two guys on his team that he could, be a little more aggressive to get up to them and maybe push them through in the playoffs. And if they're not around, he's got 2 other guys that he owns, or even 3 if Riley's up there, that he could, weasel his way up there and maybe give them a nudge to get past the finish line first. So I don't know. Or maybe he just, psychs them out since they're all out of the playoffs, or he's already made it through to Phoenix and he just gives them a little push and then goes around him and wins, as long as it's not Bell or Briscoe. So I don't know, just kind of feeling like Denny can go out there and like have a little fun for once. And so like a lot of times in these super speedways, I feel like in the Gen 7 era, he just doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know if he wants to be up front. He doesn't know if he wants to be in the back and wait. He just doesn't know. Now I think you just take that out of the equation. Go out there and run your race, dude. Get up with your guys, give them pushes, do what you can. I think that'll help Denny a lot here, and he can get a good finish. So, and then I don't have a lot of stats on him, but he does have more top 10s than any of his teammates here in the Gen 7 era. So I think he's got 3 of them. But that's it. Tino, I'm going to jump right back to you for JGR.
Oh man, see, I was thinking the same thing about Denny, but he wasn't my pick. And then my mindset had, so we're gonna be, this is a live breakdown for me. I have almost all of my picks locked in except for JGR at this specific moment, and Team 54 is the one that's making me explain myself because he's right. Denny is not helping a teammate. So the guy that I was gonna say I was like, okay, Denny can ride around, he can be aggressive for the first time, but if it came down to it, maybe he'd push so-and-so to the win. And Team 54, you might be right here, except for the fact, here we go, getting back to my original play.
He should push Hendricks to a win, because that's what he wants to see at Phoenix.
Exactly. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I think the one saving grace for me is the fact that 2311 is out of the playoffs. JGR is in the playoffs, and who does Denny not want to see? Those Team Penske drivers. He knows that. He's been saying it. Hey, probably doesn't even want to see as many HMS guys as there can be. So what does he do for that? he puts Christopher Bell or Chase Briscoe into the playoffs or into the championship round, to me, Christopher Bell is going to be my pick because of that reason. He's who I had initially, so I'm glad I kind of stuck with my guns there. We'll see. But, him and Chase Briscoe, I feel like between those two drivers, Denny was sort of the best out of the three, but I didn't want to pick Denny because I feel like there can be a chance for him to actually help out a teammate this time. If he doesn't, that's on me.
Nice. Yeah, I actually have, like, in everything that we do, we have Bell highest on this team. But, just being weird here. So, Phil, who do you got here for JGR?
Yeah, I was thinking of doing Denny if you guys all went a different direction. And so just to kind of pile on the reasoning, because there's a lot of talk in the chat about it, like, I think what we've seen from Denny at Talladega in this race is a lot of pussyfoot bullshit over the last couple of years. He's been trying the thing where he rides in the back and he doesn't want to fight. At this point, he's free to do, like, he's a good super speedway driver, right? Like, I think we get a little bit more of that because the team, as everyone knows, is going to be focused on Phoenix. He's just going to go out and run his race that he likes to do. It's going to be a fun thing for him until it's not. Right? Like, if he gets caught up in the big one, who gives a shit? But he's going to be running free. So I see that aspect of it. I am going to go with a driver who has just willed me to the lead at this point, Chase Briscoe. I know that Tino said that he was between Christopher Bell and Briscoe. This is it for me. It's, consistency. In the last 7 races here, he's got 5 top 15s. Only 2 finishes like that were bad in 30s. Bell not as consistent. He, I think 2 top 15 finishes, maybe 3. The rest are 20 and beyond. So just like a little bit more inconsistent. I loved what I saw from Briscoe at Daytona in the 500. And the other aspect to Briscoe's race is he knows he's a solid super speedway guy. He knows he's 15 points above the cut line. Like, I think he can go out. He's not a guy that needs to like win and you're in. Like, he can, just run a smart race. Yes. And he would be just fine. And I think a smart race wins this team. So it's funny that we're all on different guys here. That makes this interesting. And we'll see how it shakes out. But especially since they're all kind of fighting each other. But Briscoe's my pick.
Yeah, what a tough decision for Denny. You get to the end of the race, it's like, who would you want to face at Phoenix? I don't really want to go against Briscoe, Bell, Logano, or Blaney, like, at all. I'd much rather go against Byron or Larson or Elliott. So yeah.
I think there is an incentive to win, just since we're talking about it, because Team 54 mentioned this, and not to I agree with this thought process, but there definitely is an incentive to win because he loves to win. But aside from that, it's the fact that if he does win, then that's one less guy that's moving on to the championship that we know of. Because people, obviously, we're normally seeing, I don't think we've ever seen a repeat round of 8 winner, because that wouldn't really necessarily make sense, or that's just how the cards have played out. Right. And to this point, Denny's locked into Phoenix, I'm sure, this entire week and next week, too. But if Denny does win, there is a big incentive because then we're seeing for the first time a repeat winner in the round of 8 who then doesn't guarantee a spot for someone that if they were to win and they're in the playoffs would be locked in. You see what I'm saying? Like, everyone's then still battling for points. Then another thing I wanted to mention. Yeah, my bad. But go on.
I was just say that makes sense too. And I think, like, even if every playoff driver is knocked out of this race in the first wreck that we get, and Denny's there, like, in the race, like, he's going to try to win. It's a NASCAR race. Like, that's just what the guy does. I don't think he's out there just to pussyfoot around, really. So I don't know. I think if he can win the race and he can make some moves and get a run, why wouldn't he? I think he will.
Yeah. And then one other thing I was going to mention here was from you, Ryan. So how many wins do you have? What's your total right now? If you don't mind me asking, what's your win total?
I think, no, I have it up here. I can't catch you with 3 races to go.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I could.
So you're locked in for buying someone a diecast.
Yeah, exactly. My wallet felt that one in more ways than one last week. So
I was gonna
uh,
say you could go from third to second, but you can't. Okay, my bad. I just wanted to.
no, I'm out of it. So I'll still pick. Like I don't want to give out bad information on the show, but like really, we're at Talladega. There is no bad information. Like literally, we could give 30 pieces of bad information here, or we could give some gems. So we'll just try to do our best with a drafting race. Especially like you said, first time in the round of 8. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too optimistic, but I really just hope it's a little more aggressive. I hope these guys want to run up front so they can avoid the disasters in the back. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of guys that run up front, always on drafting tracks, we'll jump right to Penske because these are the 3 guys that all, what, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pull it up right now. Let's see here. True average running position on drafting races in 2025, 5 races. Austin Cindric, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, 1, 2, 3. So these are your guys that run up front, but they don't always finish there. I'll lead this one off, and then I'm going to kick it to Phil. I'll be pretty quick here. Ryan Blaney, and I just can't really trust Joey Logano. Logano has his best finish in a Gen 7 Dega race is 19th. So I don't know, man. He runs up front. He's led the most laps, I think, in the Gen 7 era, 7 races. But something just always goes wrong with this guy. Give me Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney gets finishes here. What's he got? He's got 3 top 5s into 7 races. He's one of 6 drivers with at least 3 top 10 finishes in 5 drafting races this year. So yeah, just give me Blaney. Not much else to say. Phil, who do you got?
It's Ryan Blaney, and it's like not even close. I was surprised, to see how poor his numbers were when we're talking about Joey Logano. It's like shocking how he struggles to finish here. Now, one thing I should have mentioned in the opener. We had 2 DQs in the spring race, and he was one of them. So he crossed the stripe 5th, I believe.
Yeah.
And so when you're looking at the different stats, some people have him ranked 5th, some people have him scored 39th. But as far as the draft is concerned, it's 39th. So, that is crazy. To the point where
You're betting these guys this week with the playoff, with that round of 8 thing on the line. Like I think, you can place your bets, and then you got to be very aware of post race inspection again. I think it's always on this type of track where they're just trying to get like whatever edge they can. So
exactly.
Go ahead. Didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, but Blaney gets finishes, and I feel like we're going to see a similar situation with Blaney as we did last year, where he's going to run really well in this middle race, come close. I hope he wins, but he'll come close, and then just like last year, just miss out and then win Martinsville. I don't see that with Logano. I think they haven't had speed this year in general, and he can't finish at this racetrack. It's just wild. Since the last 2 guys on the board, I took Chase Briscoe plus 125 over Logano in a head-to-head matchup. Chase Briscoe's 6-1 versus Logano in a head-to-head matchup. That is crazy.
Yeah.
So you're getting plus money on a head-to-head matchup. That's what you're looking for if you want that on a super speedway. And it's going to be a sweat, because I know Logano is going to be up front for 3/4, 80%, 90% of this race. And then he finds trouble here. So I got to go with Blaney, and I'm not even looking back.
Perfect. Tino, is your boy on the show, and are you going to disappoint him right now?
Oh, he's there. He's telling me I know
There
what
he
to
is.
do. Well, for this Team Penske play, it's definitely Ryan Blaney. Go fast, Troy mentioning web gloves. If there's an opportunity for logs later, I'm still thinking about it. I'll be honest with you guys. There's a lot of things going on in my mind right now because Ryan, if I were to pick Logano, I definitely feel like I just got talked off of it. So I'm trying to stay calm here. There's a lot of this is now a lot of pressure on me. As each round goes by, I'm like, man, what play could I make to not only make sure that I'm making points, but that I'm not losing points to win this weekend as well? I want to be Tino Talladega. And as we're on the topic of Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano, I know in the chat, Easton asked us if we think Logano and Blaney are in must-win situations, and we think they can do it. Logano's in a must-win situation this week. I would say yes, because if Blaney doesn't win this week, he's going to win at Martinsville. Can they do it? Blaney most certainly can, and he definitely will. Because I not only do I like
Logano's
Ryan
more
Blaney,
of Logano's more of just a top 10 machine at Martinsville. That's
Mhm.
like that's his deal. But like they prove it at Phoenix. Like you get to Phoenix and they just give whoever they need to at the Rocket to go win the championship. So it's like with the season on the line, like say Blaney won this week and Logano is in a must win next week at Martinsville. Does Logano just get the juice? I don't know. Like
Ooh,
he's
that's a good point.
good at Martinsville.
And also Blaney's done this the last 2 years where he's won and advanced. Like he was in a must-win situation at Martinsville and did it.
Man, this is gonna be nuts. It'll be fun. Tino,
Robert,
I know the pressure's on you, but you're gonna lead off big three here too. So
that's
I don't
perfect.
mean to keep piling it on, but you do have the
No.
leverage spot at the end here, though. You got the last wild card pick this week.
I want this pressure. This is a moment that I feel like I've created for myself that I'm ready to capitalize on. You know, we go and win 7 straight. Everyone wants it to be 8. The streak doesn't continue moving forward. There's nothing more exciting than waking up a fresh week ready to start a new streak, ready to get I just lost the lead to Phil in the draft. This is 3 races left. But this is what I've imagined all along, being in a spot to where I can go out right now, pick these drivers, put them on the board, and get back up. Because a wise man once said, you can't get up without being down. And that's why in the big 3, going with William Byron.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't on my board at first, and then I had to put him on my board. So I'm doing it.
No flu game this week.
Yeah, that sounds
no
like
flu this week. He's
yeah. Well, that was like so Wayne's World. It was good.
Sean does not like it.
Tino wasn't even alive when Wayne's World came out. All right. Phil, big 3 pick. Who do you got? This is an important one as you guys battle down the stretch here.
Yeah, I'm going to take someone that I don't have on my betting card simply just because of the odds, and it just didn't shake out that way when I put the pod together. But I'm going to go with someone that has been trustworthy enough, and that is the number 9, Chase Elliott. Second in average finish at this racetrack in the last 7 races here. He's got a win here, knows where victory lane is, a few falls ago. So he's won this race in the playoffs, 2022, backed it up 2023 with a 7th place. Last year didn't go so well for him, but they're scoring at a 5th place finish for him in the springtime. Chase knows how to just kind of keep it up front. And I don't think that we're really going to get too many people upset with a Chase Elliott pick here. Like he's just kind of what got me the win last week was just the more, like you said, Brian, calm, cool, collected, down the middle type picks. And I think Chase is that in the big 3 right now. So hopefully it works out that way. He can get the finish. All 3 of us need guys to just finish the race. And I think Chase can do that for us.
So yeah, I had Chase Elliott written down all day here. That to me was an easy pick. When we sim everything out, he's our odds-on favorite to win this race. Win the race. So it was like 11-1 or around there, something like that. It came out to be. I did forget to mention bets that we have this week. So I took some fun outrights. Again, they're only for fun. They're just little sprinkles. But I have Bubba at 22, Byron at 16, Elliott at 16 of who I got on the board here so far. But yeah, so you said something very important, like always running up front. So something that's interesting, 7 races in the Gen 7 era at Talladega, that's 14 stages, He's earned stage points in 12 of them. So only 2 times has he not been. And in all those stages, he finished top 8. So he's running top 8 in 12 out of these 14 races through both stages. Plus, you mentioned his great finishes here as well. Yeah, and he's proven that he can win here. So give me Chase Elliott. I think the upside's there, and we should be up front, regardless of the outcome. I think it's a good pick. All right. I'll lead this one off. We'll go to a Ford team here. We'll go to RFK because this is something that I did earlier in the year at Talladega, and I'm going to do it now because it still falls within the same fun little thing here. So, Brad, he's never gone more. Oh, well, I'll type him in here too. So, Brad Keselowski's going to be my pick. And he's never gone longer than 4 years without a win at Talladega. He won in 09, in 12, 14, 16, 17, 21, 25 is the 4th year. He didn't win in the spring. He's going to win. So I took this at 18-1. This is just math. And so, follow the math. But really, though, beyond the jokes, we all know Brad Keselowski, an elite drafting racer, total elite drafting racer. He sits top 10 in our true performance scores on Win the Race on drafting tracks this year. It's only a 5-race sample, but still, it's good to see that people are running well on this track type in the current season. So, yeah, give me Brad K. And again, now RFK here, I'll let you guys make your picks, but I love this team this week. All 3 of them. Love them all. Give me Brad K. Phil, jump into you.
This is one team that I was anxious to see where you guys went. I have Keselowski written down, and so I think I kind of have to just stick with my guns there. I'm not going to flip it. He hasn't been great this season with his finishes, but it's more so kind of like what you were saying about just Talladega. He's overall, I think, the best of all of them here. Back-to-back second place finishes. Like he's a driver who's so unaffected, I think, when we go to a track like this. The fact that like he's out of the playoffs. I think Brad is someone that could be a disruptor. I think he is someone that could be riding around with that Ford crew and just basically say, fuck off, Joey and Ryan. Like, I'm winning this damn thing.
Oh,
and so, that's what has me kind of going. I think Chris Buescher would be someone that I'm looking to. Now, Priest has been solid, as I mentioned, this season. I just can't get there between all of them, but Buescher is more that middle of the road pick. And I just feel like he's kind of impacted by, he's kind of checked out. It feels like. We'll see. Maybe he proves me wrong in a track like this, but I'm going with Brad.
I think this whole team is that mentality that you talked about. Like, we don't give a shit if you guys advance in the playoffs. Like, RFK's here to win a race. Like, they just want to win a race this season. I don't know.
I would argue that. I think Brad has the clout to go and do that. I think Priest and Buescher being a more recent race winner and Priest just kind of being like the odd man there. I feel like he doesn't have the balls to go and like actually do that to those guys. That's I don't know. I would love to see him do that. But
that's awesome.
I think Brad
I'd love to hear his rebuttal. I'd love to hear his rebuttal to you saying you don't think he has the balls.
Well, wait a second. The balls to disrupt the 2 big dog playoff drivers from his manufacturer. Not that he doesn't have the balls, because this is a guy who's gone through, the air 2 times in a row at Daytona. Oh yeah, trust me. I'm not saying that. Dude's a monster.
Yeah, full context is
he's like
needed
6'5". He looks like he could play tight end. Like he has balls. But
he's like he looks like that. The short track guy you don't mess with after the race.
For sure.
All right. I have all 3 of these guys bet, by the way. The 18 on Brad, the 25 on Buescher, and the 30 whatever on Priest. So that's it. RFK, Tino, who do you got here?
Yeah, I have to be the same. Your whole math with Brad is why I'm going to put a bet down on Brad to win this weekend. And you mentioned that to me, I feel like earlier on this year, and I was blown away by that. And I think if I wasn't going to pick him or bet him this weekend, I'd feel very sad because then it's probably going to happen. I mean, the math and the stats and the signs are there.
What gets lost there, yeah, and like what gets lost there is like literally just named 6 wins at Talladega. Like that's on a freaking drafting track. Like he can boogie around this place.
And I'll say this too. I should have said this pre-show, but I hope everyone's locked in with me here now too. This is okay. Talladega, especially in the round of 8. I know everyone has, it's unpredictable track. It's really not. I can't say that it's not. But recently at Talladega, sure, we have had 10 different winners in the last 10 races, but all those winners were strong super speedway drivers.
Yeah, it's all the dudes.
Talking Brad, Denny, Blaney, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Sure, underdog in terms of equipment and odds, but you're not going to tell me he's an underdog anytime we get to Talladega or Daytona. Definitely not.
No.
I'd say Tyler Reddick was the biggest guy that might have been a surprise winner, but even then he won a dual race earlier in that same season. So you could pull some things to say, oh, he's got a fast super speedway package.
Third best average finish on drafters this year.
Exactly. So I look at all those things when it comes to a pivotal moment and having this race in the playoffs. And I genuinely believe it's going to be one of those top dogs that win it. And with that being said, now that streak of 10 different winners may get broken here because it's going to come from a guy like Brad Keselowski, a Ryan Blaney, someone that has won here before and has the track record when it comes to super speedway racing.
All right, let's jump back to a Chevy team here. Phil, I'm going to kick it back to you. Who do you got here for Spire?
Another tough one. I'm going to stick to my middle of the road, boring pick and go with McDowell. He's got a 12.0 average finish this season. Not too shabby, on the super speedways. Pulling him up right now. 11, 13, 12. I mean, it doesn't get more like right down the middle than that. And so I got to do that. He's not necessarily a world beater at this particular track. He's got some rough finishes, a couple 30s, but he does have an 11th. He does have a 3rd. He does have an 8th. So it's really kind of feast or famine for him. I'll just trust him more. But let me just say this. I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to let you guys go because I'll comment on somebody else that I'm not picking. So maybe you guys will.
All right, yeah. It's probably going to be my pick here, my man Carson Hocevar. And I don't know if it is or not, but I think that this is actually a decent opportunity for Hocevar to get his first win. I mentioned how high I was on Hendricks and Spire uses HMS engines. You're going to need that speed here. And I feel like at certain times this year in a drafting race, like when you could catch a run and run your way up to the front, Hocevar makes it happen. He's come from the back and ran all the way to the front multiple times. And really, in my true performance scores in drafting races, I have him top 5. He's one of 6 drivers with at least 3 top 3s in the 5 drafting races this year. And finished the last 3 Dega races, 17th, 14th, 6th. Like I said, we've seen him shoot to the front multiple times. HMS engine, I don't know. I always pick him on tracks I think he can get a finish, and he never does. And then he finishes on tracks like this, so the dude's kind of ass backwards. But I'll roll with that here. Again, I'm out of it. I'm going to pick what I think could be a long shot to win this race, whereas McDowell I don't think can win. I think he's more of that steady pick, which is what Phil needs to do right now. So I think that's our difference of mindset here. Tino, who do you got for Spire?
This one has been I wanted to make sure I remembered that earlier in the day when I was thinking about what my pick was going to be here, that I was going to say, I have absolutely no idea who to pick between any of these drivers for the first time. Probably like sure, we've said front rows, like the dart throw. I think this is the biggest dart throw of the season. Maybe that's a little egregious, but the Michael McDowell that's normally fast super speedways gets me a little concerned. And the Hocevar I don't really trust, although maybe I should. And I feel like the guy that I'm going to pick is the one that Phil was going to talk trash about. So I'll take Justin Haley for that matter. Oh, it's not? Okay. But I'll finish my Justin Haley's thought process.
Gotta be Hocevar. Greg freaking hates Hocevar on drafting tracks too. So
I mean, I can't wait to work with him. So that was my thought process. No one wants to work with Hocevar. People would want to work with McDowell, but Justin Haley is that much more I would hope.
Justin Haley's own team doesn't want to work with him anymore.
Right, exactly. So I think he buddies up with HMS or someone like that might need him because he's like, all right, I don't. Yeah, that's kind of my narrative is, I don't want to work. My team doesn't want me. I'm going off and do my own thing. Well, there's like 4 to 5 to 6 to 7, even go hook up with RCR. I see Kyle Busch comment in the chat saying he's back. Okay, we'll see about that. But maybe Justin Haley goes for a ride with him. So I'm hoping that this doesn't bite me too hard. And I did go with Justin Haley last week, and that streak that he was on of being not lapped at Vegas went out the window by lap 1. But if he's going to be wanting to get another ride and trying to put out a good performance, hopefully it's this week that he can do that.
All right, sweet.
So
different here too.
This is what I said on my pod, because I was putting together a shotgun unit, a 5-man shotgun unit, which is where we try to play some of the longer odds guys.
Love it.
And what I said there was, I'll paint you a picture, right? Have you ever heard of a driver getting booted from his ride and the next race up being a super speedway track, a place where everyone thinks that you're down, and then all of a sudden the guy who just got booted wins a super speedway and gets everybody's attention as he's going off into the sunset? Harrison Burton. I think Justin Haley has that opportunity. He's a decent enough super speedway racer, has a range shortened victory in a super speedway track, is 16.9 average finish. That's 11th at Talladega. He's got 2 top 10s, 4 top 15s. Like, he's serviceable. And I think he's driving for his career. That was the other part that I left off my storyline there. Driving for, just yourself, go out and get it done. Like, super speedways are where people can go out and just drive for themselves, fuck the team, and go do it. So Haley 60-1 is on my shotgun unit for those reasons. So I was tempted to take him, but I'm in a spot where I got to be steady, Eddie.
Old enough to remember when those were more fun. He'd easily be 90 to 100. Maybe when the season started.
You're right.
But definitely last year. All right, best of rest. We're gonna lead off with Tino here, because then we're going to snake back and you get the leverage in the wild card round. So we'll just go Tino, Phil, Ryan, Phil, Tino to end this thing. Best of rest. I think we might be chalky here, but I'm not sure. So Tino, go ahead. Who you got here?
Well, my best of rest is exactly that. The best driver that isn't really a part of any team or teammates or anything like that, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Have to put him on my board every time we go to a super speedway track. Another guy that was an honorable mention for me, because it's not looking like he will be picked for me tonight, was Eric Jones. I'm an Eric Jones believer. He showed me that when I had him on my board at Daytona. I wanted to have him here, but it's not looking like it's going to work out. But I do love a good Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in this spot.
I can't go wrong with Ricky here. Phil, who do you got for best of rest?
Did you ever play, we're talking video games earlier. Did you ever play the WWE video game back in the day? One of the things that you could do was beat the guy up so bad and you could steal his finisher. And then, like, if you're The Rock, you could give him the stunner. Yeah. I'm taking Eric Jones. You wanted Eric Jones? I'm taking Eric Jones. Give him to me right now, baby. He has back-to-back 6th place finishes. What did he finish last year in this race? 5th place. Eric Jones will be heard from in this race, and Eric Jones is my pick. I love the fact that you were thinking about him. He's written down on my notepad. Eric Jones is the pick, baby. So reverse finisher.
That is awesome.
After I got you with the Byron, that was a good plan.
Man, you thought you had the leverage here, Tino. Phil just puts it on you like that. All right. I had Ricky Stenhouse Jr. written here all day long. Everything that Tino said and mentioned. Stenhouse just a beast. 2-time winner here, by the way. And again, top 10 true performance scores on drafting tracks in 2025. So getting it done as usual on a drafting track, Ricky Stenhouse. Now we go to the wild card. And I think, Tino, you're going to enjoy this. I had this written down all day. I'm not changing it because what the hell is the point now? But my wild card all day, Kyle Larson. And I know that it's – so I mentioned the 14 stages, in the Gen 7 races. Chase Elliott, how consistent he's been. He's the man, always running up front. He's won points in 12 of those 14 races. You know who else has won points in 12 of those 14 stages? Kyle Larson, running up front the entire time with his teammates in these races. Just has to get the finishes, which he has been doing. Second and fourth in his last 2 Talladega races. Another top 5 back in 2022. So he can do it here. I think if there's a place he can do it and get a win at a super speedway, it's going to be here at Talladega. So again, I expect him to be aggressive here too, run up front with his teammates. Love HMS this week. I was so shocked that a little shocked that you picked him where you did, Tino, but that's awesome that you were on it as well. So I like the vibes. So Kyle Larson, wild card pick. Phil, who do you got here?
Kyle, just throwing that out there, calling me the showman the past couple of weeks. Well, how about we go with the showman in the Cup Series? Alex Bowman, the showman, is the pick. You talked about how he's running up front with his teammates. Who's he running with? He's running with Chase Elliott. Phil's got him. Running with William Byron. He's got him. I'm taking it's like, Monopoly. I'm getting all the properties. I want Alex Bowman in this one. He's the 3rd best driver on average finish at this racetrack. 5 out of 6 finishes inside the top 16, including a 5th place finish. And then how's he done this season, guys? How's he done this season? 6 at Daytona, 9th at Talladega, started on the outside pole at Daytona in the summertime and, got into it. We'll breeze past that. But Alex Bowman is without a doubt a huge player in this race. The only guy in his team not to be in the playoffs. So he's running, but he's got a big, important role in this race. So they need him. They definitely want him up there. And so I think, and he's running free. Less stress than the other guys. So I love Alex Bowman this week. His statistics check out at the super speedways. The situational aspect of it checks out. And I'm going with Bowman this week.
Yeah, man. The only reason why I didn't bet him is because I think he could push one of the other guys up front. And then Larson, I don't know, man. I say all this stuff. It makes you want to bet Larson too, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. Bowman is an awesome pick there. Tino, how are you going to follow this up? Is Sean in the chat? Because I think you might make him a little happy here. Let's see who you got.
Yeah, no, the boys are here. Everyone's getting rowdy in the chat. Phil's a showman. Okay, no, that's cool. Phil, I like that because if all right. So now we're here. My heart's going bum bum, bum bum. Most important pick of the night. It's the wild card, and we can have Phil be the showman. But I'll be the closer right now. And this driver, he's done a lot for me in multiple years. And he's made a lot of people mad. And he's made a lot of noise. But the most thing that I feel like he's done this season is brought together a community of people in the chat for the draft. We're called the draft. And we're going to the drafting track with one last chance to lock himself in to the championship 4. He's done it before. And I'm going to do it this week. Joey Logano! Come on. Power of friendship. I'm seeing my boys. I'm driving up there. This is the last chance for Joey Logs. And this is my time to take it all the way. I want my opportunity. This is it.
Oh, man. With that jacket and how red your face was, you look like a Logano car.
There you go. Fantastic. And that's
beautiful.
huge. He's the only one with him. So that's enormous.
Yeah, that is a huge pick to end this year. Man, some great teams. This is definitely a Talladega draft board. You can tell. I am surprised that, you can tell it's the playoffs too, because I think any other time we'd probably see an Austin Cindric up there on a drafting track, probably at least in one of those spots. He does have, I think Cindric easily the best true average running position on drafters, 7.52. Dude's unbelievable. But you know who's second? Joey Logano, 8.63. So they're the only two in the single digits. So it's a great pick to round it out from Tino. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much for tuning in. Phil, you got a hockey game to get to, right?
I do. Yeah. 10 o'clock. So I'm going to be hauling ass out of here, but
Yeah, tell everyone where they can
start.
find your work and,
Hopefully,
you
no
know,
Ty Dillon's in your way.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I need a turn signal. I appreciate everybody. This was a really fun one. Was really kind of bummed out about Talladega a few weeks ago, and now I'm like really looking forward to it. And this definitely made things really amped up. So, Full Tank with Phil is the podcast. New intro song, public domain intro song. You're in the right spot. If you click on it, don't turn it off. And we'll get used to that. But yeah, and at Full Tank Phil, Instagram for the race day cards, and on X, chop it up. Appreciate all you guys in the chat. This was really fun. And Tino and Ryan, good luck this week.
thank you, man. Good luck tonight. Crush it. Send us some of
Appreciate
those videos.
Yeah, this is coming
Tina.
off the championship season.
Yeah, we won the title. Now we're back at it. So winter
Oh,
league
that's
starting
awesome.
already.
Tino, where can everyone find your good work?
Awesome. You guys can follow me at Tino, PATTIGNO. Super excited to start a new streak this week. Hopefully win the draft. Listen to me on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, 2B TV. They call me 2B Tino. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everywhere I'll be at this week, which is awesome. I'll be, like I said, with the boys, McBrien and Sam Hall. Appreciate them in the chat. Kyle in the chat. Mike Manning. Shout out Mike Manning. Hey, moving into his new apartment tomorrow. That's awesome. So shout out to him.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Roberts said we need Champ 4 picks before this is over. I know Phil's got to go, so maybe we tweet them out.
Let me hit it real quick. I'm going to
Yeah,
go. This is just spitballing. Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney wins Martinsville. I'm going with Chase Briscoe, and I'm going to go Kyle Larson.
Love it. But
All right.
yeah. What are you thinking, Ryan?
I was going to say Denny, Elliott, probably Denny, Elliott, Briscoe, and Larson.
Okay.
That's tough. I don't know why I was like so nervous right there, but
It is
that's what I'm picking.
It is, yeah. So it is tough, except I know the answers. It's going to be Denny.
Oh, you don't know anything.
Oh my god! Oh my god! That was shaping up to be awesome.
Not good for my momentum here. All right, we're going Denny. Joey Logs wins this weekend. Ryan Blaney wins in Martinsville, and Kyle Larson most points. That would be an epic championship 4 battle at Phoenix. Keith, Big Ross, Robert, Sean McBrien, Easton, Landon in the chat. It's Team 54, Zach. We got also Alfred in the chat. Go Fast Troy was in the chat. Brian, Kyle. I probably mentioned Kyle 3 times at this point, but he's the man as well. Everyone who comments, Lee. I think I got you guys all. Appreciate you guys tuning in. TK, Mal Magi, and everyone else who was here tonight and every week. Devontae too. Bang. I think I got everyone. Thank you for tuning in and commenting.
Awesome. Thank you. If you guys enjoy coming in here chatting, win the race, we have Discord. Everyone's in there chatting all week. So if you want to think about getting in there, it's a lot of fun talking racing every week. And even this time of year, we're talking kind of all sports because it's like madness. Got the MLB playoffs, college football, NFL on Sundays. So it's just fun talking to everybody in there. Wintherace.info, all the cool stats, data, fun that you can have with NASCAR. Check it out. Thank you again. All our partners on the bottom of the screen there. Check out Brian and Kyle's podcast, Angle of Pursuit, 2 episodes a week. Go check that out. Nuke the House. I know, Tino, you're doing shows with them on Sirius. And sometimes I can get on there, when I can watch a race live and we go on there and live bet. It's a lot of fun. And then I did my segment on Out of the Groove with Eric Estep earlier today. So that should be out tomorrow. But I really appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you. Good luck this weekend. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same place.